It's another week to take a look at what's happening in the world of business. This is Moolah Insider. We are all about personal finance and your relationship with money. My name is Mercy Milanoe. And remember, if you haven't watched yet our first episode, be sure to watch it on our website at www.moolah.co.ke or on our YouTube page. This week on Moolah, Safaricom officially makes its way to Ethiopia, and bread manufacturers receive a new order from the Competition Authority of Kenya. And we tell you about money that you're yet to claim, over 50 billion shillings. And in our episodes of The Pursuits, Pascal Tokodi is our star. Stay tuned. Let's take a look at the top stories this week. First up, Safaricom is set to begin its journey in Ethiopia. This comes after an international consortium named the Global Partnership for Ethiopia was awarded a license to operate telecom services in Ethiopia. The partners in the consortium, led by Safaricom plc, will establish a new operating company in Ethiopia and will be tasked to start providing a telecommunications service from 2022. Bread manufacturers have been hit by a new order by the Competition Authority of Kenya. This comes after investigations revealed that the bread manufacturers had not been adhering to the required practices. To our top story of the week, did you know that somehow you might have some money somewhere that you are not even aware of? Well, the Unclaimed Assets Authority has raised concerns over the 50 billion shillings that is yet to be claimed by Kenyans. So far, only 11,000 have been able to claim. Let's take a look.
Millions of Kenyans are yet to claim over 50 billion shillings worth of cash and other assets from the Unclaimed Assets Authority. The assets have been gathered since 2014, and so far, the authority has 20 billion shillings in the form of money, about 1 billion in the form of shares with an estimated value of about 30 billion shillings, and 1 billion from mobile money operators. Despite the authority's effort to inform Kenyans about its role and the assets it holds, only 11,000 people have claimed and recovered their assets.
As much as institutions would bring volumes of money, in the case, say for instance, where we are looking at an institution like a bank bringing 20 billion, the makeup of the 20 billion is for so many people, because either somebody left 1,000 shillings, another one left 200 shillings, and so on, meaning that the institution will bring the 20 billion once. But again, at a unification level, the rate of unification happens at individual level. In the event that somebody has put an investment somewhere and they pass on without notifying the next of kin, the next of kin will never get to know that the unclaimed assets on behalf of their loved one who is deceased existed, and therefore they will never come even to claim. Or the other case is the quantum of the consideration in question is such an insignificant amount that it is not worth claiming. Because, say for instance, somebody somewhere we are holding about 500 shillings worthy of assets on their behalf. So you see, the question would be, is my time worthy 500 shillings, for instance? A lot of other people actually is by virtue of ignorance. I mean, you know, but again, you are not motivated enough to come over and claim. And therefore, looking at all these existing factors and reasons as to why unclaimed assets exist, they also translate to also as to how many people eventually come to lodge claims on behalf of their assets for purposes of unification. Either the consideration is small, they feel that the process is rigorous, and in fact also that the fact that the authority only is domiciled in Nairobi, that we are not available across many other regions in this country. It also has a cultural dimension. Sometimes there are people who have no motivation actually to follow through for assets of a deceased person.
The bulk of the money held by the Unclaimed Assets Authority comes from the banks, while the asset in form of shares comes from the Capital Markets Authority.
It's also better to understand what are these unclaimed assets. In fact, by way of the Act from Section 3 to Section 18, it makes determinations of what unclaimed assets are and the determinations as to how those unclaimed assets become. and they range from salaries to gift vouchers to money orders, still check, money in bank, pension, insurance policies, and so on. And therefore, then we are looking at where do majority of Kenyans put the investment in, because the determination as to whether unclaimed asset will become must obviously originate from people's investments within the various financial sector markets. And from what we have seen over time now is that a lot of people put investment in banks.
With all this data, how do I keep track of my money or claim it?
Our call to the citizen of this country, or any person in this case for whom the unclaimed assets impact on them directly, we are actually urging you to do two things. One is to keep on updating your records with the various institutions for which you have put your investment, because by way of updating your records, ensuring that you transact, you are available whenever any communication has been made to you by your various institutions holding your asset, will never make your asset become unclaimed in the first place. But if your asset also has since been limited to the authority, remember the authority hold those assets in trust. They belong to you. And because they belong to you, you're also entitled to your asset in full. One other thing is that you are not charged for the service that the authority offers to the citizen. Our service is free of charge. It is available on the USSD service, *361#. It's also available on our website, www.ufaa.go.ke. Search to see whether you are listed or your loved one is listed. Make a claim on the portal. You do not need to travel to Nairobi to lodge your claim. And the authority will make a consideration of the claim that has been made and make a determination to pay you at your appointed bank or an M-Pesa number even.
As of now, the authority, however, cannot use the monies in any way unless the law is changed.
Well, to give perspective to this story, we'll now head to our word of the day, which is unclaimed assets. So what are unclaimed assets or unclaimed funds? Well, this is money or assets whose rightful owner is yet to be located. Unclaimed funds are typically turned over to the government after a specific period of time has passed. To claim the funds or assets, the designated owner or beneficiary must file a claim. Well, now that we know what unclaimed assets are, what are the types of unclaimed assets and what are some of the things that we are yet to claim? First up is traveler's check and money orders. If unclaimed for 2 years, they are presumed abandoned. Secondly, deposits or savings. Either they've increased or not decreased, or there is no communication to the bank regarding the funds for 5 years, they shall be presumed abandoned. Life insurance funds that are unclaimed for 2 years after they become due shall be presumed as abandoned. Deposits for utility services such as your water, electricity that are unclaimed for 2 years after termination of services will be presumed abandoned. Lastly, dividends that are unclaimed for 3 years shall be considered as unclaimed assets. Well, that gives us perspective of what unclaimed assets are and the types of unclaimed assets. There's so many, so be sure to do your due diligence to see what you're up to claim. To give us perspective on unclaimed financial assets, we're now joined by Amoyo Ndibo, who is an expert in this field. Thank you so much, Amoyo, for joining us. First, how can we ease the process of going about these claims?
The first reason for setting up that Unclaimed Financial Assets Act and the agency is for the agency to go out and let people know, make them aware. So where is the awareness campaign of the authority when they say it is my responsibility? They have not told me where these assets are. They have not told me they are holding them. They are not telling me that some of the assets that were at Barclays, they are holding them now. So I don't need to go to Barclays, which is now called ABSA. And that is, again, taking a very laid-back approach. The other way to look at it is look at Nakumat that went down. It's not even 3 years. There are loyalty points that accrued to people. Loyalty points are unclaimed assets. They are a liability. They were a liability on the books of Nakumat. What is the authority doing about it? So when they say that it is your responsibility, that is just looking at it from one side. And the presumption here is that I am the original owner of the asset. If I'm not the original owner of the asset, and it was my late father, how do I get to know? How do I get to claim?
How are other countries doing this?
What they've done is that they work with service providers. These service providers are the ones who take that last mile, take the extra effort to trace some of these individuals that may actually lay a claim to this asset. That is why I was telling you that in Ireland, they are achieving 15, 16%. The reason why they are achieving that is because there is an extra effort that is being exerted. That is not happening here in Kenya. Like I said, just the same way you do an audit trail of money that is taxpayers' money, it's the same way you should take. It's the same approach and the mindset that you should take when you are returning these assets to their owners. I am now holding 50 billion worth of assets. Some of them are matured policy claims. Some of them were benefits that should have been paid when the policy was still in force.
Lastly, Amoyo, what role can Kenyans play in accessing these funds?
Personal responsibility means that you keep a very good track record of your assets. Kenyans have not been known to be very good keepers of records. So I would begin there. That is number one, that we need to do a better job of keeping track of our assets by keeping records. Secondly, part of the reason why this happens is because of a tradition that we picked from our forefathers and our fathers. They didn't keep wills. We need to write our wills when we are still alive, when we still have the energy and the basis on which to prepare these wills so that they cannot be contested. The reason is, by the time you're passing away, there's so much information that you have that either your spouse or your children do not have.
Thank you so much, Mr. Amoyo, for joining us. You're watching Moolah Insider, and be sure to log on to www.moolah.co.ke to see more stories. While you're watching Moolah Insider, we are all about personal finance and your relationship with money. On our episodes of Pursuits, we tell you about Pascal Tokodi, who for the past 9 years has been in the entertainment and film industry. What does it take to excel in this field? Take a look.
Pascal Tokodi is arguably one of the most recognizable actors in Kenya today. Popularly known for his role in Selena, Pascal is a man of many hearts and has already become a household name. He's an award-winning actor, director, as well as musician. But how did his career begin?
Makutano Junction was my first job. I went to Group Theory, I went to Pray and Pray, so many other shows in between, and the current show I'm doing is called Selena. It is one of the best shows to come out from Kenya. It's a beautiful show, amazing acting, amazing directing, amazing cinematography, and again, God's grace.
How are you, sir? Oh my goodness, what?
Pascal was a trending topic for a few days in February after he filmed an accidental encounter with President Uhuru Kenyatta on the road near State House.
Ona Selena! Ona Selena! Maisha Magicist! Utaona!
1 in a million people can meet the president just taking a stroll. The president of Kenya, not the retired president of Kenya. It was a 1 in a million experience for me, and I had a couple of seconds. I had so many things I wanted to say, but what came out was
Ona Selena! Ona Selena!
and amesema nimeona. So that was Pascal, you're doing a good job. It's very easy to put curfew, to put Kenya's problems, everything all in 8 seconds. I get that. Many people can do that. Yeah, it was at the spur of the moment. I said what I had to say. I pushed what I do for a living. I pushed, because Selena has hired more than 150 people to work. The people who've been working for Selena, we created a beautiful show. And my hope is to always push and promote local talent.
Selina is a drama series aired exclusively on DSTV channel 158 and GoTV channel 4. The series has seen Pascal grow his brand as an actor. Selina is a classic Cinderella-like story that combines the romance of the fairy tale with the relevant social issues of educating the girl child.
I believe every single thing I've done has prepared me for the future. All the experiences I've learned behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, have really helped me nurture my talents. It's patience, because you have to have patience in this industry. The skills, because now when I'm on set, I know I'm not supposed to be here, the camera is there, I know when not to break the line, when not to cross this one. All the experiences has made this thing really work.
Despite the numerous challenges facing the industry, Pascal can only see growth, especially with the evolution of social media.
Seeing so many other shows popping up, seeing how much as an industry we're growing, it makes me happy. It makes me happy that I'm also part of the growth. It makes me happy that I'm contributing a huge part of that, and also that we're creating stars, you know? I feel like now competing with other countries is on the table. Having social media has really helped us in terms of reaching way farther than we'd expect with just TV, because now social media is on your phone. So bridging the gap in my talent and also entertaining people, I think social media has really done a very huge part.
His plan is to get into even more local productions by creating and sharing new ideas while nurturing new talents.
Well, that's quite an inspiring story out there, and I think if you are passionate about something and you're patient and you work consistently on it, you will definitely make it. Well, let's take a look at our leading indicators, starting off with the stocks and foreign exchange on how they're performing this week. Let's take a look at the prices of groceries in selected supermarkets. Well, that's all we had for you this week on Moolah Insider. Remember to log on to www.moolah.co.ke for more stories. And if you haven't watched our last episode, be sure to check it out on our website and social media pages. See you next week.